In the darkest nights, we find our light. Battered souls, but we won't lose sight. Surviving together, never alone. Through every trial, we carry on. Surviving together, never alone. Through every trial, we carry on. Surviving together, we stand tall. United forever. Strength and courage will overcome. Oh, surviving together, victorious, and never alone. Hand in hand, we'll face the unknown.
We see you, we hear you, and we believe you. Hey, everyone. How you doing today on this wonderful Saturday afternoon? Thank you for joining me. It is a really special live today. I decided to combine our Laugh Saturday with Surviving Together's 2-year birthday and anniversary. And yes, there's a reason that I separate those. But first off, let me just say you've landed at Surviving Together, a safe space for trauma survivors to connect, build community on their healing journey, as well as providing trauma-related education for all, usually. But Laugh Saturdays are always the exception. And I need to turn this a little bit here so that I can get my bookshelf in, because we cannot celebrate these last 2 years without giving some nod to the exposure that the channel has gotten, and that really lifted me up this past year in terms of what I'm doing. While I love you guys, and I love doing those lives, and I love seeing everybody here, um, just having that outside validation, that means something different, right? And that other people see the worth in what I'm doing. And I just can't thank you enough. Hey, Crystal, how you doing? I hope you're having a good day today. We're celebrating. So Surviving Together, I started the channel in January of 2024, I guess it would be. And I didn't push live until the next month. I wasn't quite ready, but I got the channel registered and going, and got my email, and figured out what I was going to be, doing for it. So the birthday has just passed. So we are now 2 years old, the channel is. We are just coming up on our anniversary, February 11th. So next Wednesday, actually. But we have a guest for that show, so I didn't want to make that into a celebration show. But I will probably mention it on the day that on Wednesday. But that will be our 2-year anniversary of the first live show. So just almost upon it there. So thank you, Crystal. Listening, not much for laughs. Hey, no worries. I don't know how many laughs we're gonna have today, because honestly, when I got thinking about doing this as a celebration, there's so much about the channel that I want to share with you guys. And then I decided to just do some Mad Libs. So I don't know how that's gonna go if we don't have a big crowd here for the live chat. I may just be filling in a few on my own and kind of see how it goes, and you guys can tell me on replay whether they were funny at all, and if it's something that we want to do again with a bigger crowd. Uh, so let me just get into it a little bit in terms of this past year and what is coming up for 2026. So this past year, as you see on the shelf, as you guys know, if you've been with me along the road, we had in April of last year, I won the Women Changing the World Global Award in journalism and media. The shock of the century for me. I was totally dumbfounded. And then again in November of this year, they had their regional awards, and I won again. And I think they called it journalism and creative arts, which kind of combined the literature aspect as well. And so, along with that award, the same day, we launched Begin It Now, the book you see on the back shelf there, which I had a chapter in. Um, Incredible experience writing about my childhood trauma, delving deep into it, had a lot of experiences, feelings, triggers that I really did not expect. And in speaking with a lot of people who have done this sort of work in terms of writing about something that's deeply personal, whether it's trauma or not, I found that a lot of people have the same sort of thing to say, is that they didn't realize what a process it would be, um, cathartic in some ways, um, unsettling in others. And I'm really glad that I did it. I'm really glad that I did it. You know, I don't know that the book itself is gonna, launch any new opportunities or streams. I'm still not great at marketing myself. That goes back to sales, right? I really hate sales. And if I'm going to do something different with the channel, I do have to market myself in a way, even if I'm looking at being a nonprofit. So that is a really big headspace change for me, getting used to the idea that where I want to take the channel, where I see the channel can go, um, in terms of me being able to do this full time and not rely on my legal work during the day. Um, I'm gonna have to turn this into a 501c and, be looking at places for the extra donation money to go. Um, I recently had a conversation with somebody about potentially doing more with legal work, and doing pro bono legal work for um, survivors, human trafficking survivors, just survivors, trauma survivors in general, in certain areas. And it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting idea. And one I am definitely not opposed to. So I've been thinking a lot about, my way of being able to do this full time is obviously I would need to take a salary from those donations, and nothing extravagant. I mean, really, I need no more than I'm making now just to cover bills. I'm not looking at this to be able to fund a different lifestyle. It is solely to be able to work on this channel and do trauma related things, and potentially even, you know, getting out in the community and doing some more in-person work, which I know really doesn't pay very much. So again, there's that need for balance, to have funding to be able to do the type of work. So I've been thinking a lot about this, especially this past week as we've had this come up. Um, as well as I think, being an empty nester, it's time. I've got to look at where I'm going in my life. Am I going to be moving into with my parents? Because it's something that they're probably going to need in the near to mid future. Is that something my brother's going to do? Um, it's I don't know. I don't have all those answers. Um, but I looked at what I have been doing for this year and the amount of work that I've put into the not only the human trafficking series, of course, the military sexual assault series, but just all the people that were all the guests that I've scheduled in the meantime to bring you different stories and different sides of trauma. uh, People working in the space. What are they doing? What kind of advocacy work are they doing? And that's one of the stories that I'm bringing to you this coming Wednesday on the 11th. Allison Jones Lockwood is going to be with us. She is an advocate. She's been working in the trauma survivor space for a long time. She's worked with several different companies and organizations. And she's going to be talking to us about, bringing the message of survivor support to the communities and how do we get communities involved in supporting survivors and not looking the other way, in being there for them, in supporting organizations that provide survivor support services. So this should be a really great conversation. She was part of a campaign called Start by Believing, which I think is just awesome. Whoever coined that term for them and kind of got that as their little tagline. Um, the name of the program, Start by Believing. And really, isn't that what we say all the time? Believe the victim, believe the survivor. If their story falls apart afterwards, well, that's something that you can deal with. But 99% of the time, that person's telling the truth. Survivors have too much to risk by speaking out in general. And that's why people, unless they have something particular to gain from lying about a traumatic experience, it's very, very rare that occurs um, in people's daily lives, right? So if you come across somebody who reveals something to you, believe them. Absolutely believe them. Hi, Audrey. How you doing today? I'm so glad you're with us. I have my hair back in twist. And I actually have a date tonight, believe it or not. I know. First one in a really, really long time. Probably it's been a while. Let's just put it that way. I can't remember how many months ago. It's been quite a while. So um, just going for a drink and maybe dinner, and we'll see what happens. Um, we're actually going to Deidre, we're going to the local dive bar, and I say dive bar with the most affection that I can muster. It's just a local bar, right? And they've got really good food. They have happy hour till 7 every day. Um, I'm told that maybe that's not on the weekends or not on Fridays and Saturdays, but I'm not sure. So I kind of have a bet to either win or lose. If they don't have happy hour till 7 today, then I'm buying a drink, buying one of the rounds of drinks. So I put my money where my mouth was on it. So we'll see. But I like it. It's a nice place. The staff is always really friendly, and it's just local crowd, right? And somewhere you can just kind of get lost in and just enjoy being with it. Exactly, relaxed and familiar, and that's 100% uh, the vibe that we were going. I said wine bar or dive bar. We've got both within a fairly short radius. Can do either. And the wine bar really is an actual like wine bar with restaurant. It's Cooper's Hawk. That's the one I talk about here. And the front half of it actually has a wall where they have all the wines that they have on their menu, and you can taste, and they'll charge you. I don't know, I don't remember what it is, but X amount for three sample drinks or five sample drinks or something like that. I think you can buy just a one sample, but particularly if you're going to sit and have dinner, what a nice way just to relax and talk, try a few different wines, look at the menu, see what you might be interested in, maybe then try a few wines that you can pair with your dinner. They'll give suggestions as well. They're very, very knowledgeable about their alcohol there. So it's a great place as well, but it's a little pricier, a little fancier, so it kind of depends on the vibe that you're going for. And so, yeah, we decided just to do the dive bar. They make a great cider there. I love me my cider. Um, it's either generally order a cider or a margarita if I'm in a bar. The wine place, that's totally different. Georgie says, I miss the wine in South Africa. It was one of the things we really did well. Really? Honestly, I know nothing about South African wines. There used to be this place called Sam's. And I know people in the US go, "Oh, Sam's Club," kinda like Costco. No, 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 no. Sam's Wine and Spirits, and it was in Chicago. It closed before COVID or maybe right after COVID, but basically it was a liquor distributor, and you went in and it did almost look like a Sam's Club or a Costco where it was just shelving units from floor to ceiling with wine, but they had it organized by region. And French wines then were broken down into their individual regions, so by country, by region. And so I have no doubt that they would have had probably a South African section there. And then they had these little spigots of generally two or three wines depending on how big that section was that you could try. And oh my god, you better pace yourself because you could get totally, totally wasted. I mean, people go to wine tastings and, spend 50 bucks, 100 bucks just to be able to go into a wine tasting and taste whatever wines the dealer brought or whatever. And here you could just go in for free, just going into the store, but be careful because A, you could get drunk very quickly, and B, you're tasting all these amazing wines and definitely you want to buy. I mean, this place had, and I don't even know how many wines it represented, but this entire section of kosher wine, which if anybody knows anything about kosher wine, generally it's the two brands that they see around Passover time in their local grocery store, and it's gonna be Morgan David and Manischewitz. And I'm trying to think of a really nice way to describe them, but I'll just they're cough syrup, basically. They kinda taste like cough syrup. Extremely sweet, but also still has that really bite to it that you're actually drinking alcohol. So that's why I call it cough syrup because it's so sweet. The 6-year-olds liked it. I remember they'd always have it at the bar bat mitzvahs that they would have um, oneg celebrations afterwards, which is just the party that you would have after they've done their little spiel in the temple and everything. Then you go to the party. And we loved when they had parties. My mom sang in the choir and we would stay. We had Saturday school in the morning and then we would stay for a little while and we would till mom got done with singing in the choir and then we would be able to be part of the celebration because they always had an entire wing. I won't even say table. It was a wing of tables that were desserts, right? So those mini cheesecakes and cookies and brownies. It was heaven. But then they also had these itty bitty, glasses of wine because you're going to do you're going to celebrate and start the opening with a blessing over the wine, and everyone's going to take a small drink of wine. And so they would have these just, lined up on the table so that everybody could just take a glass when they got in. And my brother was 3 years older than I was. So he was like 9, 10, somewhere in there, and I'm like 6, 7 years old. And, if one of the rows had too many, we'd try and, shorten that up so it evened it out. We were helpful little workers as we were downing. So we were downing our cups. So yeah, that's my early experience with wine, with Jewish wine, kosher wine. I would love to find out more about South African wines, specifically the Western Cape province has good wines. Wow. Next time I'm at Cooper's Hawk, I'm gonna ask them about that. I'm gonna ask them about that. I would love to find some place like Sam's Wines again. It was in Chicago, downtown Chicago, north side of downtown, and, God, I loved going there. I truly wish I could find another place that is like that, where you can just try wines as you're browsing, um, because truly, what a great way to get people to buy more wine that they weren't even thinking about buying. You try a little sip of something, and you're like, "Oh my god, that's amazing. I'm gonna buy a bottle." Um, yeah, I'd love to find a place like that. But I'm assuming those are 2 vineyards, Geodre Gore. I won't even attempt to pronounce them because they probably have an Afrikaans inflection or something there that I will just totally, not get. I would love to try that. Yeah, this is, 2026, I think, is going to be a real pivotal year for me. I mean, uh, 2025 was in a way. There were, a lot of changes, for me, a lot of focus on me. I hardly dated at all last year, and that was on purpose. My son was finding his footing. He was his first year out of high school, working for, a full year and figuring out what that was like. And then the beginning of this year, just last month, he moved out, was about 3 weeks now. Yeah, no, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. So that was my first really big change in 2026, right? Second is starting these series that I'm doing. And I'll tell you, the amount of people I have spoken to within the human trafficking field who have been willing to come on, uh, it's been amazing. The response that I've gotten back from people who I've reached out to who are in the space. And I was just thinking yesterday, because I was speaking with somebody else who does survivor support services. Um, And I already had somebody come on for survivor support, right? And this was my initial idea. I had thought 2 per month, 8 total in the series. I want somebody with a survivor story. I want somebody with law enforcement background. I want somebody from different places around the globe. I want to talk to somebody from a policy aspect. I want to talk about sex trafficking, labor trafficking, organ trafficking, baby trafficking. And I just kind of was interviewing people and then pulling and putting them in the boxes, in the show boxes that I had already set up. But as I've been doing this, there's so many people who have worthy stories out there who are doing advocacy work that I think needs to be told. So I am really contemplating continuing the human trafficking series. Maybe one a month, maybe just when I happen upon somebody with a story that I think needs to be told. But I don't think it's going to end in April, guys. I'm really seriously considering, continuing on with it. And it's not like I would never bring a human trafficking story again because it's such an important topic. And if something happened, of course, I would cover it. Um, but stories like this gal who I just spoke with um, on Friday yesterday, she does support services, but in that she actually worked with law enforcement on one of the major rescue operations that I spoke about in my very first human trafficking show, like not officially launching the series, but just that what I did at the very end, I think it was in December, November of 2025, where I was just, let's talk about the most recent rescues. She was part of that. And so being able to tie it back to something that I spoke about at the very first show and how that came about and why that's such a big deal um, is pretty important. It's pretty important to talk about and to get the story out. And I'm going to have her on. Yeah, so I'm going to have her on, even though it's another support services. 'Cause she adds a little bit different of a dimension than um, conversation when I was talking to Smitty about it, because she's got a different role within support services there. So Judge Agora says a really worthwhile topic, but heavy. It is, and that's why I didn't want to do more than 2 shows a month. February is going to have more than 2 shows. It was mainly based because of the people's schedules. Just getting when I was dealing with that many people, I've learned a lot from it. I'm hoping my military sexual assault series will be a little bit more in order. The way the order I would have covered topics would have been a little bit different had I had everybody identified and scheduled, been able to schedule them when I needed them to be, but it's not. And I think that especially if I do it as part of like an ongoing series. Let me know what you guys think. Deidre's saying yes, but if you're listening on replay, let me know in the comments. Is the human trafficking series is it something that you want to see continue? Do you want to continue to hear people's stories? Whether they're survivors, whether they're advocates, whether they're educators, regardless of the position, this is something that you want to hear more about. So let me know because, as always, the content that I bring, I want it to be something that you guys want to see. If you aren't showing up, if you aren't viewing um, the lives, then I have to reassess. I don't think that what I'm doing then is not needed, but maybe the topic was not the topic you guys wanted to hear about, or maybe I covered it in a way that wasn't as interesting. So definitely need you guys' feedback on what you want to see more of this year. Do you like having these guests, especially after I'll be asking this in March because February is just chock full of guests as we had in January. Do you like the stories that I'm bringing you? Um, I'm planning on continuing on having at least 1 or 2 guests during the month talking about whatever it is their story, um, whatever story they're bringing to us, and I hope that you guys will enjoy it. But I realized all the work that I'm putting into it's taken a lot. Guys, you don't realize, I don't think, how much I do behind the scenes to bring these stories to you. I'm contacting these people, I'm talking with them through email, telling them about surviving together, getting a little bit of their story. Then I do a virtual chat with each and every person who's ever come on. I don't speak to them. Um, I don't bring them on the channel unless I've had a chance to speak with them. Make sure that what they have to say is matching up kind of like with their bio. Are they right fit for the channel? Um, can they speak about what their topic is well enough? Some people are very passionate about things, but they have real hard time, discussing it. Um, so I want to assess all of that right before I bring you shows because I want to bring you the best shows that I possibly can. Crystal says, I like the guests, but I miss the interaction with you in the chat as well. I do too. And that brings up one point that I've skirted around a little bit, but our numbers in the chat have dwindled significantly over the past year. And that was interesting for me because there isn't anything that I can point to and say, like, this is why. At one point, we thought, well, maybe it was just summer, but now we've gone through fall and winter, and our numbers are really kind of the same in terms of our lives. So I'm starting to wonder, do these live shows work, or time. I know some people have time zone issues, and I completely understand. Um, should I be looking at a different day? Should I be looking at a different time? I haven't quite figured that out yet. And I haven't quite figured out the people who have disengaged from the chat. It's not like I got any indication. I know what's going on with a few people, um, and completely understand why they're not here on a regular basis. But other than that, I'm kind of at a loss. I haven't been promoting the shows quite as much in other YouTube chats. Maybe that's part of it. But I haven't had the time to be in other YouTube chats. And I've tried when I get a chance occasionally just to pop in and just say, hey, and I'm there for 5 minutes. I feel so guilty if I put up my next show or even tell people about what my next show is because I seem like that's the only reason that I'm popping in. Usually it's just because I see somebody's live, I have a quick second, I want to pop in and say hi, and then in the back of it, I also have the don't be a dick and just, come on to announce your show. It's always a secondary thought, so I'm always struggling with myself as whether I should do that. I think a lot of us are pretty fragile at the best of times, so sometimes we isolate maybe. And that definitely can be true as well. And I knew when I started this channel, it's the main reason that I decided to do Laugh Saturday, right? Which I haven't done many laughs with you guys yet. Um, but I've been putting a lot of thought into this about where the channel should go. Um, I think doing some of these bigger series are definitely something that I want to continue. If there are topics that I think need to be told by other people and can't be wrapped into one or two lives very easily. I have no ideas yet for future ones because I've just got my sights on the three for this year. Thankfully, I would say my work for human trafficking is wrapping up, but like I said, if I'm going to continue on with the series, that probably isn't true. and I'm going to be wrapping up the military sexual assault, I think fairly quickly, and I just kind of have to get people slotted in the right order. There's a couple of topics that I want to talk about, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have a guest on for that or if I'm just going to be talking about it because I think there's some bases that need to be laid for those shows before we really kick them off with guests. Indigo, how you doing? Thanks for dropping by. DeAudrey, you're right. You're 100% right. I think you should self-promote more. It's just part of how the social media thing works. If you could see my list of things to do, getting my Instagram account for Surviving Together is one of them. As you guys know, I'm banned from Facebook, so I can't do anything there unless somebody wants to run a Surviving Together Facebook page. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know and I'll coordinate with you. But other than that, I'm kind of dead in the water with as far as Facebook's concerned. But there certainly is more that I can do with YouTube, with Instagram. I haven't gotten on TikTok yet, but I could promote shorts there. Um, I got banned on Facebook because they don't think I'm a real person. I mean, Surviving Together is not real, obviously, but then they had me do this whole whenever the camera said turn left, turn right, go up, go down of my face so that they could show that I was a real person, I guess, and not an AI. And they said, sorry, we still don't believe you, basically. And you have no more appeals, and that's it. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't, there's nothing more I can do about it. I mean, I don't, maybe I could find a phone number somewhere for somebody and make a stink and try and get it resolved. I know people have resolved it. But in terms of just going through the official channels and the one appeal they give you, yeah, that went nowhere. So it is bizarre, isn't it, DeAudrey? It is just incredibly bizarre. So Pinocchio, how Pinocchio, would that be the female female version of Pinocchio? I'm a real girl. Yeah, I'm about as real as it gets, right? You guys who know me who've been with me so long. This is absolutely as real as it gets. Uh, so let me just tell you a little bit more about this year and next year and what I have kind of in my head. More of the same in terms of bringing you guys interesting stories, interesting people, topics. I like doing the what's new in the news, especially for science. Um, when they discover something for anxiety or depression or how the gut and brain work, um, topics I want to continue to bring you guys that. Um, so that might be an every other month type of thing, what's new in the news. Um, I like science, so it interests me. But it's also an area where I think I could stay true to the channel, but not being quite as heavy as having somebody's story or what they're trying to accomplish with advocacy work or something like that. Um, so if you guys have any other ideas of shows that you think would be lighter but still stay true to surviving together, um, I know some of my biggest shows have been ones where I've covered true crime that's just kind of been horrendous. And it's because it's a crossover, right? Uh, but that's not what my channel is about. And I'm hesitant to cover too much of that, right? But if there are interesting stories out there, if something else was to come along about, say, Giselle Pellico's case, if Dominique was to win on appeal or something, or something was to come down about our lovely Dr. Joel, certainly bring you those stories. Um, let me know if you've got any ideas, even if you don't know how you'd make a show out of it. If you have just a topic or just a thought on something that would be lighter that you'd like to if you got a post and said I'm doing this particular show on Saturday, or my next live, this is what it's going to be about. What would that topic be that would really pull your attention, that would go, oh yeah, I really want to be there. I want to make that show. I find that that's really interesting. What kind of topics grab you guys? What would be good for you to hear? Um, Again, this show is for you. I will do the work, I will do the research, but I want to make it about what you guys want and what's helpful for you, because the community is the backbone of this. I will never go to just pre-records. There's a reason that I do this as lives, and that will absolutely continue. Whether I add some pre-records, that's to be seen. But I'm certainly going to continue doing the live shows, and twice a week, same times, and unless I get feedback from you guys and they say, "Oh, you absolutely, need to switch to something else." Why I'm thinking of it though, we do have Wednesday the 18th. So not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that. Our show is going to be at noon Eastern. So that's 6 hours earlier than it normally is. And the reason being is one of our guests is from Kenya, and there's an 8 hour time difference. So he's coming to us. He's giving up part of his evening to talk to us about labor trafficking in Kenya. And we're combining that with somebody from Sierra Leone, lives in the United States, is originally from Sierra Leone, though. They're going to be talking about labor trafficking from their respective countries in Africa. And so we're going to be having a time difference there. So if you see the post for the 18th and it's like noon and you're like, hey, she put this in wrong. Nope, I didn't. That is by design. I will be going live at noon next Wednesday on the 18th. So just to let everybody know, it's the only time that I've changed that I know of for everybody who I have scheduled. And we're scheduling into March. I've already have 4 of our dates. I have half of March filled already, guys. That's insane. That's insane for me. And I'm so excited about it. But it does mean I have to switch modes, and I have to think about surviving together basically as a brand, uh, about how to package it, how to sell it. What's my mission statement? What's my purpose? What's my mission statement? What's the motto? Kind of get all that business stuff done. Because if I'm going to try to get donations and basically investors in what I'm doing, I need to be able to package this up somehow so that they can see the value in what I'm doing. Um, I may get to a point, guys, where I'm going to ask you to take like 30-second testimonials or something and send them in. And what does surviving together mean for you? Why have it exist? I may be asking that in the future, so you guys can become part of my sales presentation. If you're interested in doing that, if you're interested in helping kind of with things that need to happen with the channel, please let me know. Email me, survivingtogethersass@gmail.com. If you want to help and you're not sure how you can help, email me. We'll figure it out. I'm going to be getting to the point where making that switch from doing law work to giving it up completely, I'm probably going to have some interim help as I make that adjustment because I'm probably going to have to go down to part-time work if I do make that switch or when I do make that switch. Talking like that makes me nervous, but I think that there's something valuable here. I had to seriously look at surviving together and looking at these awards is partly what helped kind of change my perspective that I see this from the inside, right? Because I've just been doing this. And for me, it's just something that I do. But being able to kind of look at it from outside, how do other people view what I'm doing? What kind of value do they see in what I'm doing? Why do they see value in what I'm doing? And I have to 100% believe that and be able to project that to somebody else. I mean, whenever I talk about my channel and people can see that I'm passionate, right? But I need to be able to articulate what the value is and why you should support this and why it should continue to go on. And what do I envision for the next year or so? You're right, Deaudra. We do have people in the survivor community quite savvy about marketing. And if any of those people want to join forces and help me pro bono initially, guys, everything's pro bono. If anybody wants to help out with some of that stuff, I would I'll take the work. Um, take the workers, I should say. I have the work. I'll take the workers. It's stuff just like creating the thumbnails and copying over the bios and just doing stuff to get all of the shows ready is a challenge in and of itself. And then doing everything else that all the research and the interviews that's required to bring you the shows that I've been doing. That's about my max. But I have started kind of listing, if I was to package this up, how am I going to work this out? Right? How am I going to do that? So I started a note thing on my phone and I just as these thoughts were coming to me, throughout the week, I would just write them down and it really is just a stream of consciousness that I've written down and uh, we'll see what happens with it. It's exciting. This is an exciting year. It's an exciting time. Um, it's only 2 months away is going to be the Women Changing the World Global Awards again. Because I won the regional award, I'm automatically a finalist. And I'm not sure what they're calling it, journalism and something, journalism and media, something similar to that will be my category again. Um, does anyone know how Cosmic is doing? Uh, she stopped by one show for I mean, just an in and out high. Um, I have not, other than that, I have not had any connection with her. I do know some other people have had connection with her. Um, but I don't know exactly how she's doing right now, so I couldn't tell you, unfortunately. Well, what do you say? We've got a few people in here. Got a few minutes before 10. We haven't done much laughs, but I did pull up this Mad Libbing thing. I think she's doing okay. I think she's just had a lot of personal things that she's been dealing with, Deaudrey, but I do think she's doing okay. That is the last message I have about it, so we'll just go with that. And if I hear anything different or anything that I can share, I will certainly do that and shout that out. Um, but we're gonna do some ad libs right now. So I need a few things from you guys. I need some adjectives and I need some nouns and I need some verbs. Just shout them out. Put them in the chat. I'll pull up a couple here. We just fill them in and then we click and then it makes the story for you. So you don't know the spots that you're actually filling in. So on to the first adjective here. Let's say playful. Um, Funny. I need several colors. Can anybody give me colors? Noun, potato. Okay, good. Let me get to a noun. I need more nouns. And I need a plural noun. Purple. Okay, good. And another color here. I'll enter green. What about an emotion? I need an emotion, guys. And more nouns, plural nouns. Cats. Okay, good. Table. Got it. I'm switching back and forth between screens. Here we go. Table. Plural noun, cats. Love it. Troubled fear. Yes, emotions. Okay, good. Going on the wrong tabs. So afraid. Let's see. Mushroom. Good. There's another noun. Need a verb, guys. And more plural nouns. Have I seen the video of cats knocking over toddlers? I can't say precisely, but I have seen one similar. And so yes, watching cats and dogs do stupid things is pretty darn funny. I do miss having that. Jump, verb, great. Guys gave me some other things here. Bathrobes, love it. Plural noun, plural noun. Where's my plural noun? Here we go. What about another adjective? How about sunny? I need a shape. Oh, Indigo says Cosmic is doing good. Miss her, but she's doing really well at the moment. Okay, good. Aw. Indigo says, Mac, I just want to say how happy I am I found your channel. Thank you, guys. Okay, with square, round, and octagon. All right, let's see how many, I'm not sure how many shapes we need. So the first one we saw was square. More plural nouns. How about octagons? We'll just turn the shapes into a plural noun. Need another verb, another adjective. Round can be an adjective. Another noun. How about cell phone? Can you tell I'm just looking at my desk right now? Computer. Adjective, verb, and noun. That's what we need now. Almost done. Running, a verb, great. What are our adjectives of tall? Um, we got some more nouns. Oh, a puzzle. Puzzles. All right. Slippers. Somebody said risky. I'm not sure. I need an adjective. So I'm going to say risk adverse. All right, let's see how this works. I have no idea. This is supposed to be a wedding to remember. So we filled in everything, and now I click go mad, and it writes me a little story. All right, so here we go, guys. Here's the story wrote on a wedding to remember. One sunny, playful afternoon, the big day finally arrived. The funny couple, dressed in purple and green, wow, that would be something to see, wouldn't it? Stood at the end of the potato as their family. Hello, I'm back. I'm here. My yeah, these are Mad Libs. My entire browser closed. I have no idea why. Obviously, the Mad Lib story didn't like me, but I was able to restore it, so I still have the rest of the story. So let me see if I can get through that. So the officiant declared, I now pronounce you table and mushroom. The couple sealed the deal with a risk adverse kiss. Oh, I like that. That made everyone jump in delight. At the reception, the round cake stole the show. Well, that was kind of boring, wasn't it? It was shaped like a cell phone, a round cell phone. That's interesting. And topped with bathrobes. The guests were so impressed that they yelled out, Sunny Computer. The highlight of the evening was the first dance. The couple twirled like cats on the dance floor. Ah, I'm just imagining cats twirling around, actually. Cats don't chase their tails very often, but when you see them do it, it is pretty damn funny, especially when they bite their tails so hard they yip. Well, not yip, they squeal or whatever their, cat screeches. Uh, Everyone joined in on the dance floor, forming a square around the happy pair. By the end of the night, even the tall guests were lined up and running. It was a splotchy day full of octagons, laughter, and puzzles. Well, that's a wonderful day. As the couple left for their snotty honeymoon, everyone waved their slippers. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully you're back with me. Yeah, we lost the stream. I lost my browser. Everything shut down. No reason given. I have no I don't know what happened. So yeah. Well, that was our the first and only Mad Lib that we've done. Let me know if you guys enjoyed it, if you thought it was funny. It was really interesting when you guys started typing in some stuff. That's the way this needs to work. I mean, I can do it all day long. I don't know how funny they'll be when I eventually create them. I wish I could find this one Mad Lib that my son and I did together. He provided all of the words and he didn't know what the story was about or anything. And when we finished, it was the funniest story. We kept it because I laughed so hard. It must be in his stuff, which is going to be in the storage unit. Next time I'm out there, I'm determined to find it to bring it to you. So maybe it just so happens our next last Saturday is March 7th. So exactly 1 month from now is the same date of the month. So that will maybe we'll bring back some more Mad Libs for then. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Did the Mad Libs work? Is it like, well, no, not. I don't really enjoy Mad Libs. Let me know. With that, I think we'll end for today. I know I didn't bring you as much funny content as we normally do, but it was a great opportunity to talk to you guys about the channel, about the hiccups that we've had, the promising guests, the inspiring direction I see this taking, and celebrating 2 years with you guys. I am pretty blown away. I I didn't expect much when I started this. I didn't know what to expect. I was just pushing the button. I'd been in somebody else's live before. I kind of knew how this should work. Never created any content before. Uh, and so far it's worked. You know, we've been pretty stagnant in terms of our overall numbers for the last year. We lose some, we gain some, we lose some, five come, five go type of thing. Uh, but we're still here and I'm still bringing you these stories and I'm still going to talk about this topic. And it doesn't matter if there's one person in the chat or, 100. That would be wild. That would that would be wild. For me to have 50 people like consistently in the chat would just be mind blowing, right? Because that's not we operate on a smaller scale here generally. Um, so that would be really interesting if we had that. We'd have to adjust, but again, growing organically is allowing us to do this adjustment. We're not going to just automatically have 50 people in the chat. So we'll just keep creeping. And any numbers that do grow, it's because people are needed to have this space and people are finding value in what the space has to offer. And that's not just me, it's you guys. Every time somebody comes in here who's new and you guys don't recognize it, the welcome you give them, it is just totally on point with my vision for this channel and how we treat everybody with respect and dignity and non-judgmentalness. You guys have just made this channel. The SAS community is surviving together. And that's why, yeah, lights still on, doors still open. We're going to continue to be here every Wednesday and Saturday. Please look at the thumbnails for our upcoming shows. Oh, every day is planned out for the next month. I don't think I have a single free one in there that just says Wednesday live or Saturday live. If you see it says just Wednesday live or Saturday, I don't have anything planned yet. We're going to have the live. I just don't know what we're talking about. But I don't think I have any of those We're filled up through March 11th, I believe. So definitely take a look at the channel listing in the lives. They list them furthest date out first. So you'll have to just go back in incoming. Oh, best of luck to you, Crystal. Best of luck to you. I know that that's going to be a big day, a concerning day for you. So uh, sending extra hugs and love to Crystal that she makes it through her test on Wednesday. I know that's going to be nerve-wracking. Make sure you just do everything you need to do. Take your medication. You'll get through it. Contact me and let me know how it goes. But sending big hugs and love to everybody out there, everybody who needs it. I know that there are certain people in our community that are really, really having a tough time now, some with physical health issues, some with mental health issues. So, from our community to you, if that is you, please, please, please take care of yourself and sending you giant hugs and the most love that I possibly can. So with that, I'm going to end today. I'm going to try and put a face on. I'm going to try and put some makeup on. So it's not my forte. I hate doing eyes. I wish I could just do my eyes like I've seen some people do it. They're just like woo, 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 and it looks great. I do my eyes like that, I think I look like a raccoon. And maybe that's just perception, right? Because I'm not used to seeing myself like that. We'll see. We'll see if I can get something to look good. It's going to be basic. Let's just be honest, right? It's going to be basic. But I can't wait to see you guys for our next live stream, which will be Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, with Allison Jones Lockwood, who is going to be talking to us about how we can get communities more involved in survivor support. Extremely important topic to talk about. And, we need more people doing that type of work. So needed. So please join me Wednesday for that if you can. If you can't join us live, you always can join replay. If you haven't hit that like button yet, guys, if you could hit the like button before you end out, subscribe if you're not. You'll hit the all bell for notifications, then you'll get all of these shows, these wonderful shows that coming up that I've got listed out. You can go through the list of lives and see if there's anything there that really tickles your fancy and you're like, oh, I really need to do that. I'm trying to put all of the shows once we have them for the human trafficking and human trafficking playlist. So those will all be in one place. I know I got the first show in there. I'm not sure if I got the second show. And um, I'll definitely get the third show coming up here on the 18th into that playlist as well. I'm going to analyze after I've got, say, 4 or 6 shows in there and kind of see how the series is doing. Is it getting any traction? Are people tuning in for that, more than they are for other coverage, other lives that we're doing? And we'll pivot accordingly, right? Nothing is set in stone, other than the shows that I do and the people that I've already put in place. But just because I have a vision for the way the channel is supposed to go, if that vision doesn't match up with what you guys want, that's on me to change. And so you have to tell me, because I'm open to criticism, I'm open to ideas, I'm open to assistance. So this is really a community channel, and I want that to always be the focus of this channel, is this community and making sure that we're supporting each other along with the education piece. Those are the two tenets of this channel that I will go to the end with. So with that, I'm going to say adieu for now for the rest of the weekend. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. Remember, you are worthy, you are valuable, and you are loved just the way you are for who you are. So hugs and love from me. Well, I will see you guys Wednesday at 6 p.m. Have a great rest of your weekend and surviving together, never alone. Enjoy the outro, guys. Bye.
Through the fire, through the rain, we have walked through endless pain. But we stand, we rise again. Stronger now, we break the chain. Surviving together, hearts open wide, lifting each other through every tide. The past may have shaped us, but it won't define. Together we heal, together we shine. Every tear, every scar tells the story of who we are. Not just survivors, but warriors too. With love as our armor, we see this through. We see you, we hear you, and we believe in you. Surviving together, hearts open wide, lifting each other through every tide. The past may have shaped us, but it won't define. Together we heal, together we shine. We see you, we hear